Namaste and welcome to class. Namaste Camilla, thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Today's class is going to be a workshop on the spine. I call it the organic spine. I'll introduce the different concepts of the organic spine as we move on, but before we get to that, let's just warm up with a few exercises for the spine. So before we start, let's just connect to our breath. So you can close your eyes for a few moments here. Connect to your breath and slowly deepen so that the breath becomes a bit more dynamic compared to our natural breath. We will be using that for movements. And slowly open your eyes. And on your next inhalation, lift your arms out and up. Then exhale, lower your arms by the sides of your body. Once again, to lengthen through your body, lift your arms out and up, and then interlock your fingers and face your palms toward the ceiling. Now slowly start to open in the direction of me over here for axial rotation, a spinal twist. And keep this spinal twist and see if you can get a feeling of all of the vertebrae. So it's not just one piece of movement. You're moving many joints. The spine is moving up along from the lower spine all the way through. And at the very end, you turn your head toward the back of the room. Then come back to neutral. And let's move toward the other side. A spinal twist, starting from the lower vertebrae, then moving up along all the way through, and at the very end, moving the head looking back. Now come back to neutral and release the arms by the sides of your body. Now fold your fingers behind your back. Open your chest, outer rotate your shoulders and lengthen through the front of your spine, lengthen through your neck. And then slowly lean into a deep back bend. Release your arms, and on an inhalation again, once again lift your arms overhead. This time with your right hand, grab your left wrist and then lift across for a side bend. Keep lifting here. Once again, feel how we are lengthening through the left side of our body, but also make sure that you're not collapsing your right side, the side that you're leaning toward. You're actually not leaning, you're lifting across. Inhale, come back to neutral, and then change hands, grab to the opposite wrist, and continue to the opposite side on an inhalation. Lift yourself across to lengthen through your right, but don't forget to lengthen through the side that you are bending to. Not bending, lifting across. Inhale, come back to neutral. Exhale, allow your arms to drop by the sides of your body. Then fold your fingers behind your back. And once again, inhale, open your chest, lift your arms gently and start to look to the ceiling, leaning or lifting across and back. Exhale, keeping your hands interlocked, forward folding, but not just bending your spine forward, extending as you move forward, so you're in a way reaching as far ahead on the floor with your forehead. Now you can drop the forehead to the mat, release your hands and place them below your shoulders. Gently stretch your arms and then walk your arms toward me. Keep both sit bones strongly rooted and then turn across. Now when you can reach no longer, start to create the same spinal twist starting from the lower vertebrae, extending through your spine and then look back. Inhale, come back to neutral and walk to the opposite side. Open your chest just a tiny bit and then start to look back for a deep spinal twist combined with this forward fold of your hip. Then come back to neutral and come upright, seated once again. Now let's get to the top of our mats, facing the side. Once again, close your eyes, connect to your breath, and let's just feel our spine. So let's arise our body awareness around our spine. So with your eyes closed, get in contact with your spine. And I can tell you that when we're focusing on the spine, your mental focus is on the back side of the spine. I would like to change that. So now rather than being with your mental focus on the back of the spine, now change that and see if you can feel the front of the spine. From the front of the tailbone up along the front of the spine all the way to the base of the skull at the level of the ears where the spine ends. So we're bringing consciousness to the front of the spine. With that, let's try to lift our hands. So on the next inhalation, lift from the front of your spine, your arms out and up. And then let go. Now, if we would try to do the same exercise in the old way, we could call it. Once again, in the old way, without having your mind, your body awareness in the front of the spine, lift your arms out and up with focus on the back of the spine. You will feel a huge difference. We don't need to go there. Lower your arms once again. Now, that's one of the concepts of the organic spine. The organic spine consists of 4 to 5 different concepts that I'm working with, or even more. One of them is to bring the consciousness to the front of the spine. So the reason we are focused on the back of the spine is because that is where all of our muscles are connected. So there's a natural feel from our bodily reactions to the back. So in other words, the mind can feel the back. We can't really feel the front in the same way. Now, coming to the back of the spine, the muscles are great too. They are helping. Now, the back of the spine I therefore call the muscular spine. So we have the muscular spine and we have the front of the spine, the consciousness brought to the front of the spine. Those are the 2 different concepts that I'll be moving along with. A third one I call the soft spine. Everything that is resting, that is placed in front of the spine, our digestive system, our glands, our organs, our sexual organs, our lungs, our heart, our diaphragm, everything is placed in front of our spine, that I call the soft spine. When moving through a vinyasa flow, I will be using the muscular spine to support the movement of the soft spine. I will be using the consciousness on the front of the spine to bring consciousness to this area in order to express consciousness, to shower all of the organs of the soft spine with this movement pattern. Now we have also a spinal canal that runs kind of on the back side of the spine. At least it's behind the body of the spine, but in front of the muscular spine. So inside of the spine there's a canal, and within that canal we have the spinal cord, or the nerves that runs through from the brain and opening out to all parts of the body. So we want to keep the spine as free, as long, as light as possible. So that's another one of the organic spine concepts that I'm aware of when moving with the spine. And at the very last part that I would introduce here in the beginning is also what I call a long neck. We can master that after practicing, studying the Jalandhara Bandha. So I would refer to another workshop, video workshop on that. But for now, I would simply avoid compressing, crunching the neck within our practice of different spines, so of different movements. So I would lengthen through the back of the neck to avoid a crunch of the neck, which we often see, which how we often practice when we are not fully aware of the position of our neck. So it's you could even do it yourself. You can bring 2 thumbs to the back of the skull. There's kind of 2 small deepenings here, and then you can lift your 2 thumbs up, and you can feel how when you do that, you're lengthening through the spine, and at the same time, your chin is dropping just a tiny bit. That will lengthen so we are not crunching back. And this counts especially in spinal twists and in deep back bends. But I will make you aware of that as we move through this workshop. So the organic spine consists of different concepts, you could say. One is the muscular spine. The other is to bring the concept to the front, the consciousness to the front of the spine. The soft spine being everything that is placed in front of the spine. The spinal cord, the nerves that runs in the spinal canal, and then a nice and long neck. When that is said, the spine is a beautiful construction. It brings a lot of movement, and at the same time it has a great sort of stability around it. Working with the spine, it is essential to be aware of the settings of your lower body, your foundation, the placements of your hip where the spine lifts off from, and the supporting of your shoulders. Once again, I would refer to other video workshops that you could study in order to understand what I'm talking about here, the alignments of the feet, the knees, the hips, the shoulders, and other bodily parts to support the spine. And when working with those alignments, we give a full freedom to explore the organic spine. When that's said, let's try this out with a few asanas. So just once again, thank you for your patience, first of all. Connect to your breath, deepen your breath just a tiny bit. And let's prepare for movement on your next inhalation, lift your arms out and up. Just to lengthen through your torso, exhale, arms by the sides of your body. Now before we move, let's be aware of the different parts that we are moving with. We are moving from our back, from our front, from our soft, and from our long. Now deepen your breath once again on your next inhalation, lift your arms out and up and sit back in Utkatasana. Now in Utkatasana, we're often creating a tiny bit of a sway back, but you can lengthen through your sacrum. Beautiful. Now you see, as you lengthen through the sacrum, there's a tendency to lengthen through the back of the neck as well, so that we have a beautiful and long spine. This muscular activity from the back of the spine are not supposed to contract fully. They're supposed to hold us in this spine. I would call it they're the brother energy, the brother support for the sister organs. The muscular would be more masculine, but they are helping and supporting the soft spine, everything in front of the spine, to be expressed fully. Now, if you contract them more and fully, if you strengthen the power of your muscles, you will also create more of a back bend. You will crunch your back, and therefore you will ask the organs to follow, to be compressed a tiny bit more. So let's just activate, be engaged in our muscles, and not contract them fully. Great. Bring your hands together in front of your heart and place your left elbow on the outside of your right knee. Now you don't need to open up for the spinal twist yet, but slowly start to open up spinal twist. As you see, we kind of just move up. So I'd like you just to turn your head to look to the face, and then once again, but this time start with the muscles to support the opening from the lower part of the spine. Now the muscles are supporting the front of the spine, the consciousness to the front of the spine. They're asking the soft spine, the organs, to follow. So now start to open up with the communication from the muscles to the organs, so that we can open one vertebra by vertebra all the way up, communicating with the soft spine. And there you get a deeper opening, coming all the way through to solar plexus, to lungs, to heart, and at the end turning your head. So also we have the head for beautiful spinal rotation. Inhale, step your left foot way back for revolve, for a spinal twist version of the side ankle pose. Beautiful. And your next inhalation, once again, lift your arms and your body toward the sky for high lunge. Beautiful. You are in a very gentle, I would say often I see a deeper high lunge, and I often see that we are throwing our neck back, but you are doing it so beautifully here. So rather than throwing our neck back, crunching our lower back and our neck, I would lengthen through the neck, and that'll automatically avoid a crunching of the lower back. But of course I do extend through the front of the spine while finding my back bend. If you are with consciousness with the muscles on the back of the spine, you are working your muscles way more than what optimal is. So if you bring contact, if you get in contact with your soft spine, your organs, you are involved in their balance, you're involved in their qualities, and therefore you cannot just muscularly start to crunch and look for a deep back bend, because you're more interested in what happens with your organs. You're having your consciousness in the front of the spine, and at the same time you're keeping a long neck for beautiful extended spine. Now exhale, lower your arms to the front of the mat and step back for downward facing dog. You can move your legs, your knees, you can shake your body just a tiny bit here. You've been working quite hard. Thank you for your patience. And let's just move through an in-between vinyasa here. Come forward for high plank, and then lower knees, chest and chin for 8-point pose. It's creating balance between the different sides. Inhale for Bhujangasana, Cobra, and then exhale for Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Now let's just step your opposite foot forward, right foot for Warrior One. No, excuse me. Oh, fuck. Kom back for Down Dog. Så skal jeg editere i den her, det er fint nok. And from Down Dog, soften your legs, look ahead and walk or jump to the top of the mat, long spine. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale for Utkatasana. Beautiful. Yes, lengthening through the sacrum, connecting to the engagement of the muscles, not contracting fully, because you see what happens is if we contract fully, we create more of a sway back, we crunch the lower back, we crunch. So now you're beautifully engaged, you're not overworking your muscles. That means that you're also allowing the organs to be supported, to not being squeezed in by the overwork of your muscles. So in other words, we're having our consciousness of the front of the spine, we are feeling the soft spine, and we are lengthening through the lower back and through the neck. Now, as we did just before, bring your hands together, your palms together in front of your heart, and open your right elbow to your left knee. And then, before you squeeze through, just to open up for the spinal twist, connect to the muscles and allow them to create the spinal twist. But not just for the spinal twist, also for helping to move the organ slowly, to bring a beautiful expression of the front of the spine. The consciousness is lifting the spine, then opening vertebra by vertebra by vertebra, and at the end, a beautiful long neck looking to the ceiling. Beautiful. Now step your right foot way back, and on an inhalation, lift your body and your arms toward the sky for a high lunge. Beautiful. And often we overwork the muscles. So if you come forward just a tiny bit, you're so engaged in lifting your body that we forget the front of the spine. So you contract the muscles now, rather than being fully aware, interested in lifting your body. Be interested in expressing the organs, in lengthening the front of the spine, being supported by the muscles. Often, again, we give the muscles too much power. We give them too much interest. We're just moving from muscles and bones. We want to integrate all parts of our body, and especially the organs, as they're the one that keeps balance. They're the ones that runs our lives. Well, so are the muscles, but not only. Exhale, lower your hands to the mat and step back for down dog. You can soften your knees, you can move your body and stretch gently from side to side. Beautiful. Now let's just come forward for a high plank and then lower for chaturanga. You can just lie flat on your back, and I would ask you slowly here, without the use of your hands, to lift your chest off the floor for Bhujangasana. You can touch the floor, but with a very, very mild connection from the hands to the mat, opening up for Bhujangasana. That requires quite a bit of use of our muscles. Of course, it is the muscles that creates this back bend. But once again, if we simply are working the Bhujangasana with the use of our muscles, we will collapse our organs. We will not elongate. We will not create this space. We will not create a strong container of the torso to support the correct placements of the organs. So rather than just using the power of the muscles, you can come down just a tiny bit. Now, see if you can lengthen through the front of the spine. By having a consciousness on the front of the spine, we are now lengthening, expressing the beauty of the spine. The muscles will now support that expression. And the feel, the pose will be completely different compared to if we just work the muscles. Look how beautifully and long the spine is. We have a long neck. Now you can even keep that activity, keep that consciousness of the front of the spine, and start to open for up dog, stretching your arms. Different from cobra to up dog is that we use our arms. Now again, you will sense that the spine is along, the front of the spine is expressed, the organs are lifted and carried by the beautiful pose here, and we are not overworking, collapsing, crunching our torso. Look how beautiful the neck is here, whereas we often see, if it's just a muscular pose, we would often see that we just throw our head back and we throw our back for great collapsing. I'm almost in shock how it looks here, so just let's find the beauty expression of the front of the spine. Exactly, beautiful. Then exhale for down dog. Now lower your knees to the mat, sit back in Balasana, and just shake your lower back just a tiny bit here. Beautiful. Let's take another pose where it's quite a back bend. So push through with your arms to come to sit in Virasana, hero pose. And let's just come to a stance on your next inhalation. Come to stand on your knees, lift your arms out and up, and then create fists with your hands and place your hands behind your kidneys, the area of your kidney behind your back here. Beautiful. We're looking for the Ustrasana here, the camel pose. When we lean in for this deep pose, once again, we are often crunching our lower back, crunching our neck, but with the new way of honoring, of expressing both the front of the spine, supported by the brother energy of the muscular work of the back of the spine, caring about the soft spine, our organs. Our organs in front of the neck sits some glands, esophagus, trachea as well. We're honoring that too. And that's why we're also working the long neck here. So we're avoiding a collapse. We're avoiding the collapse. And with this new way of moving, our Ustrasana will take a new shape. So here you can slowly start to lower your hands for your heels, but not by allowing the gravity to pull you down, not by squeezing the back muscles, but by expressing the front of the spine, having the consciousness of the front of the spine, by asking the organs to be moved, to take their time to follow into this movement, keeping the head. It's quite heavy, this head. You can feel you need a lot of muscular power, but it's not the same kind of power if you just squeeze it back. You can just let go of the head. Just let's see how it looks if we drop the head fully back. Here we're lazy, and there's a great force pushing to the front of the spine. So definitely lengthen through the back of the spine. Beautifully expressed, open chest, long spine. Inhale, come back, and exhale once again for Balasana. Massaging your lower back by breathing deep or shaking from side to side. Beautiful. Good. Now, let's just come forward once again. Find your downward facing dog. Now, another pose that's quite interesting is, of course, the pigeon pose. So let's step our right foot and place forward and place the shin across the mat. And then slowly sit, especially in your right sit bone here, and walk your arms and place them in the mat in level with your hips. So you can walk them just a tiny bit more back. Now, you have an extraordinary open body. So for many of us, we would not be able to lift our upper body fully like Camilla. In other words, our hips would be tilted a bit more forward. So let's see if you can tilt your hips a bit more forward, not your body, just your hips. And when the hips tilted forward, when we lift our body, we will collapse and crunch the lower back just a tiny bit. So let's see if we can lift our hip bones, and there we're avoiding the deep collapse of the lower back. So for many of us, we would need to place a block below our sit bones, or simply push through the legs to come a bit higher. So we're avoiding a deep back bend of our lower back. Now, when that's said, we are starting here to find the pigeon, to lift our arms out and up. When I ask people to lift their arms out and up, I sense that they're using the back muscles way too much, and once again create a collapse of the spine, especially at the area of the lower back and on the neck. So now lower your arms. Now lift your arms from the front of the spine. Lift your arms, expressing the soft spine, and see or feel the complete difference there is in this pose. Now exhale for sleeping pigeon. Just breathe to your lower back and then exhale for down dog. Now let's take the opposite leg, left leg forward for pigeon, and sit back. Beautiful. And lift your body and your arms from the front, expressing your organs with consciousness of at the front of the spine, lifting your arms, beautifully lengthening through the neck, lengthening through the spine, while lifting, while expressing, while being with consciousness of the front, just allowing the back muscles to be a supportive entity and not the only hard working part. Exhale for sleeping pigeon. Beautiful. Now let's straighten our arms, fall to your left hip and swing your right leg across all the way to the outside of the front thigh. Beautiful. Walk your sit bones just a tiny bit back. Now we have a strong base of the sacrum, strong base for a supported long spine. Now on the next inhalation, lift your arms out and up. Now when I just say that, I'm speaking to you, lift your arms out and up. And again, I see that sometimes we lift from our back, so lower your arms. So rather than lifting our arms, I'm extending my arms by supporting the front of the spine. So lift your arms, let them extend up and as a direct continuation of the torso, expressing the front of the spine all the way through, even to the forehead and even through to the front of the arms, so it becomes one long piece of movement. Now lower your palms and place them together in front of your heart and place your left elbow on the outside of your lifted knee. Then lower your right arm behind your sit bones and you can open your palm to the camera. Inhale, lengthen through your spine. Now you're connecting to the muscles as they will support us in our spinal twist. Connect to the muscles and do not allow them to squeeze unconsciously of what happens on the front. So connect to the muscles and only engage your muscles to support the openness of your vertebrae. Vertebra by vertebra, starting with the lower vertebrae of your lumbar area, then your thoracic opening up, and at the very last opening up through your cervical, your neck spine. Maintaining a long spine by keeping a long neck, keeping our focus, our awareness, our consciousness in the front of the spine to support the expression of the soft spine. Exhale to neutral for a tiny bit of a counter stretch, so open up toward the back of the room. And from this counter twist, keep moving all the way around till you meet the opposite sided pose. Walk your sit bone back. From the front of the spine, lift your arms out and up, extending through a long, beautiful neck. Exhale, palms in front of your heart and place your right elbow on the outside of your left knee. Inhale, lengthen through your torso. Exhale, lower your left arm behind your sacrum. Inhale, lengthen, and then gently start with the support of your muscular spine to open the vertebrae, starting with the lower vertebrae, connecting with the sexual organs, moving up, connecting with the belly, connecting with the kidneys, with the liver, with the stomach, with the lungs, with the heart, with the neck, and beautifully opening up all the way through your spine. Breathing deeply, having your consciousness at the front lift your entire bodily awareness. Inhale, come back to neutral for a tiny bit of a counter stretch. Beautiful, and then once again come back to neutral and stretch both your legs out right in front of you here. You can walk your sit bones back, yes, beautiful here. Once again, lift your arms, but not just lifting your arms, expressing the front of the spine as you lift your arms, and then forward fold. We are not forward folding by collapsing into our organs. So forward fold. While forward folding, keep expressing the front of the spine and then slowly reach your forehead as far as it deepens toward your shins. We don't necessarily need to come as far as Camilla. What we are interested in is being kind, being supportive with the help from our muscles to give the organs as much space as possible. If we overwork, if we overbend, we are doing the opposite. We are compressing. We are conflicting the space. Beautiful. Inhale, come back up for a seated, and then just lie back. You can move just a bit forward here. Before we end class, I'll just create one last universal stretch. So let's lift our right foot to the outside of our left knee, and with your left arm, hold the knee and gently ground that to the floor. Keeping it grounded on the floor, lifting your right arm toward the sky, and then we would slowly start to reach that arm to the back of the room. But before we lift it fully back, I would like you to connect with the two endings, with your two hands, with the length, the full length between your hands, as an extended part of your spine. We're bringing the muscular spine together with the front of the spine and extended through the full length of our arms. So we are opening the full length and creating a space between those two entities, those two parts. Beautiful. Inhale, come back to neutral, and let's do the opposite side, lifting your left foot to the outside, grounding that knee with your right hand, lifting your left to the sky and extending, not just stretching the muscles behind, but opening, lengthening, honoring, expressing the entire space between both hands, full torso and length of the spine. That's beautiful. Now come back to neutral, lie flat on the mat, lengthening through your sacrum by lifting it and tilting the pelvis just a tiny bit to lengthen through the spine. So we're not lying with a fully curved lower back. We're not lying with a fully curved neck. So you're also lifting your head off and lengthening through the spine. Now lying and gently opening your palms to the sky, and then slightly open legs. Take a deep inhale and then let go your exhalation. Once again, inhale and let go. Last time, inhale. And then let go and relax here just for a few moments. Waken your body by moving your fingers and your toes, coming back, turning to your right side and pushing through when ready for a seated, cross-legged, placing your hands for a nice balance, closing your eyes, connecting to your breath, bringing an awareness to your organic spine, the back of the spine, the front of the spine, the soft spine, the spinal canal, the nerves, your neck, the organic spine. Now bring your hands in front of your heart. And open up. Thank you for your patience. I hope you enjoyed class. We will return with another workshop shortly. Thank you and namaste.